welcome back to my channel, and today we'll be looking at factorization with the AC method, right? Yes. So on screen we have an example: x squared plus 10x plus 25, right? And in quadratic equations, it is written in this form: ax squared plus bx plus c, right? Where a represents the coefficients in x squared, and we know the coefficient in x squared is 1, right? So 1x squared. So in this case, a would be 1, right? And for bx, b represents the coefficient before x, right? And that is 10. So b is equal to 10, and c would just simply be 25, right? So c is equal to 25. So being that we established that, let us go to our steps in solving this equation. Not equation, factorize. So the first step is to multiply a times c, right? So we need to multiply the value of a, so 1x squared, right? So we need to multiply a times c, so that would be 1x squared. So that would be 1x squared times 25, right? Which will give us 25x squared, right? That's our first step, a times c. The second step is to find two factors that when you multiply them, you get 25, right? And when you add them, you get the b term of 10x, right? So we need to list the factors of 25. So let's do that. We have 1 times 25, right? And 5 times 5, right? So now we need to inspect these terms. So we know when we multiply them, we're going to get 25. But which one of these, when we add them, we'll get the middle term of 10x. That will be 5, because 5 times 5 is equal to 25, right? But 5 plus 5 is equal to 10. So therefore, that would make up for the middle term. So 5 and 5 are the factors that we will use. All right, so let's proceed. So now what we're going to do, right, is write back our x squared. Now we're going to, instead of writing the 10x, we're going to replace it with the factors, right? The two factors which we get. So it'll be x squared plus 5x plus 5x plus 25, right? All right. So we already done that, right? So our other step now is to take out what's common. So we're going to separate this into two brackets, right? So now, what is common to x squared plus 5x? X, right? So now we're going to divide. X into x squared would go x time, right? Plus x into 5x, the x will cancel x, right? So that will just leave us with 5, right? And we're going to do the same with the brackets in the second bracket, right? What is common to 5x plus 25? 5. So we're going to take out the 5. 5 into x, right, will just leave us with x, plus 5 into 25 goes 5 times. And how you know your answer is right, you're on the right track, these brackets must match, right? So now for our final solution, it's going to be x plus 5, right? Along with our second bracket, right? We're going to take out the numbers on the outside of the brackets. So it'll be x plus 5 and x plus 5. So that is our answer for the first one. Let's go to another example. Okay, this one is x squared plus 11x plus 10, right? So we need to do a times c. We need to multiply 1x squared times 10, which will give us 10x squared, right? So we did our first step. Our second step is to find factors that when you multiply them, you get back the 10x squared, but you add them, you get the middle term of 11x, right? So let us list the factors of 10. That would be 1 and 10, right? 2 and 5. And yes, those would be our factors of 10, right? So which one, when we add, which one of these factors, when we add them, will get 11? That would be 1 and 10, right? Because 1 times 10 give you 10, and 10 plus 1 gives you 11. So where they establish that. So let's continue. So now we're going to write back our x squared, right? And we're going to replace it with we're going to replace the middle term of 11x with the factors, right? So it's going to be x squared plus 1x plus 10x plus 10, right? So now we're going to take out what's common by separating this into two brackets, right? So what is common between x squared plus 1x? X, right? So x into x squared goes, we'll just leave it with x, right? Put back your plus sign. X into 1x, we'll leave it with 1 because the x will cancel each other out. And also, we're going to see what is common to this bracket, right? 10x plus 10, and that is 10. So 10 into 10x will just leave us with x, right? 10 into 10 goes one time. And to see if you're on the right track, both of these brackets must match. So therefore, our answer is going to be x plus 1, right? Along with, we're going to take out what we get outside of the bracket, right? Also, that would be x plus 10. So that's our answer. X plus 1 bracket x plus 10. Let's proceed. So this is our final example, right? 3x squared minus 8x plus 4, right? All right. So we need to do our A times C method, right? Yes, that's what we need to do. We need to multiply 3x squared times 4, right? Which will give us 12x squared, right? So we need to find factors that when we multiply them, we get 12, but add them, we get negative 8, right? So let's list out the factors of 12. 1 times 12, right? 1 and 12. 2 times 6. 3 times 4, right? All right. So 2 and 6 is most applicable, right? So what we need to do is to change them into negative, right? So because negative 2 times negative 6 will give you positive 12, right? Along with because as you know, a negative times a negative give you a positive, and when you add them, negative 2 plus negative 6, right, you'd get negative 8. So therefore that would be these would be our factors. Negative 2 minus 6, right? So let's do that. So this will be 3x squared, right? Minus 6x minus 2x, right? Plus 4. So what we need to do is to take out what's common by separating these brackets into two, right? So what is common to both 3x squared minus 6x? And that will simply be 3x, right? Because 3 can both go into itself and 6. It can both go into itself and 6. And x as well. X can both go into itself and x squared. So 3x is common, right? So 3 into x squared will just leave us with x. 3 3x into negative 6x will leave us with minus 2, right? Because 3 into 6 goes 2 times and the x will cancel x. And also, we need to see what's common to both of these brackets. And that is in 2x plus 4, right? So what would be common is negative 2. So if you take out the minus 2, and minus 2 into negative 2x will leave us with x plus negative 2 into 4 goes minus 2. So it'll be x minus 2, right? So therefore, our answer would be x minus 2 and 3x minus 2. So that's it for today. I hope you learned something new. Remember to like,